Almost every country in the world is in debt. The United States lives with tens of trillions of dollars in liabilities. European nations, Japan, emerging economies, even oil-rich countries are buried in debt. When you look at this picture, an uncomfortable question inevitably arises. If everyone is in debt, who is the creditor? This question is usually brushed aside because its answer exposes the biggest secret of the modern economic system. We are taught to believe that money comes from production, from labor, from factories, from effort. But much of the wealth we see today is written against a future that has not yet happened. Today's prosperity is a promise charged to the backs of future generations. We live inside a system that spends the labor of unborn children, quietly, efficiently, invisibly. And in this video, we are going to dismantle that illusion. We were taught for years that debt is a bad thing, something to escape from, a burden, even a disease. But the truth is far more disturbing. In the modern world, debt is money. Every unit of currency you carry, every number you see in your bank account, every digit on a screen, is a record of debt written somewhere else. Money is no longer a physical object. It is not backed by gold or silver. Money is a promise made by a state or a central bank that says, "This will be paid." So why doesn't the system collapse? Because everyone believes that promise. But the mathematical reality is simple. These debts can never be fully repaid. Debt is created with interest, but the money required to pay, that interest does not exist within the system. It is a massive game of musical chairs. Every time the music stops, someone is left standing. And that someone must fail. Governments do not plan to eliminate debt, because if they did, the engine would stop. The global financial system would freeze. Debt is not a flaw. Debt is the fuel. Central banks do not print money the way we imagine. They write debt. When a government issues bonds, the central bank buys them. What does it give in return? A keystroke, no labor, no production, no tangible value, just a digital entry. And when that entry appears, new money enters the economy. But it does not enter equally. This is where a mechanism most people have never heard of comes into play. The Cantillon Effect. Those who receive the money first, banks, large funds, institutions close to the state, spend it before prices rise. By the time the money reaches ordinary people, inflation has already done its damage. That is why inflation is not an accident. It is not a mistake. Inflation is a silent transfer of wealth from the worker to the creator of money. And this process repeats quietly. Economic wars were once fought with tanks. They required soldiers, borders, weapons you could see. Today, they are fought with algorithms, no uniforms, no declarations, just numbers. Countries are no longer conquered only by military force. They are conquered by credit ratings. When a country's rating is downgraded, interest rates rise, currencies weaken, capital flees. And this process does not always begin with a human decision. AI-driven financial systems scan everything. Headlines, social media, political speeches, economic data. The moment a nation is labeled risky, billions of dollars move, automatically. This is not speculation. This is economic warfare, invisible weapons, real damage. Entire economies can now collapse because of decisions made inside servers, running code, written by people you will never see. This is not the future. This is happening now. Every system depends on one thing: confidence. As long as confidence exists, the system survives. But when confidence breaks, history follows a very familiar pattern. Systems reset, old rules disappear, new rules arrive. We saw it in Greece, we saw it in Sri Lanka. Those were not accidents, they were signals. Today this process has a name, the Great Reset. Old debts are erased, but control does not disappear, it increases. At the center of this reset are central bank digital currencies. CBDCs, digital money issued directly by central banks. In a world without cash, every transaction can be tracked, every account can be limited, every asset can be frozen, instantly. This is not theory, it is design. And history teaches us something important. Any system that allows total control eventually uses it. Confidence is invisible. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. But when it disappears, everything stops. Banks close. Markets freeze. Currencies collapse. People panic. This is the moment when reality replaces belief. Until that point, money works because people believe it does. Debt works because people trust it will be honored. But confidence is fragile. It does not break slowly. It snaps. One headline, one political mistake, one failed payment, and suddenly, everyone wants out at the same time. This is why governments fear loss of confidence more than debt itself. Debt can be rolled over. Confidence cannot. When it dies, there is no rescue. Power does not vanish after a collapse. It moves, it shifts, it reorganizes. After every financial breakdown, power changes hands. But it never leaves the system. Those closest to the collapse are rarely the ones who suffer the most. They have access, they have early information, they have protection. Everyone else arrives late. This is not coincidence, it is structure. Every crisis creates confusion, and confusion creates opportunity. While the public searches for answers, new rules are quietly written, new mechanisms are quietly installed, and when stability finally returns, the system looks familiar, but feels more restrictive. Power does not reset, it concentrates, slowly, silently, systematically. Modern systems offer choices, multiple currencies, multiple banks, multiple platforms. But choice does not always mean freedom. Often, it means controlled pathways. You are free to choose, as long as you stay inside the framework. Digital systems are excellent at this. They guide behavior without force. Rewards for compliance, restrictions for deviation. Nothing is banned, nothing is announced. Options simply disappear. This is not coercion, it is design. And the most effective control systems are the ones that never feel like control. They feel convenient, efficient, necessary. Most people do not interact with the system directly. They interact with interfaces, apps, cards, accounts, screens. As long as these interfaces work, the system feels distant, abstract, invisible. But systems do not need belief to function. They only need participation. Every transaction, every click, every acceptance of terms reinforces the structure. Not because people agree with it, but because opting out is difficult, sometimes impossible. This is how systems endure. Not through force, but through dependency. And dependency does not announce itself. It grows quietly. Systems do not ask for permission. They expand, they evolve, they entrench. We are no longer standing at the threshold. We are already inside. The debt is documented, the algorithms are active, the reset is scheduled. But understanding the mechanism is the first step toward escaping the machine. This is the ghost in the machine. The question is not when the system will fail. The question is, what will you build in the silence that follows? Our journey into the shadows is not over. The series will continue. Stay aware, stay vigilant, until the next connection.